Dear Member of the Parliament, dear President of the Board of Trustees, dear Rector, dear Council General, dear Protocol and precious guests, esteemed faculty members, fellow students, welcome to the 17th Academic Year Opening Ceremony of Izmir University of Economics. We are proud to be the members of Izmir University of Economics in its 17th year, and also delighted and honoured to have you here with us at the start of the 17th academic year. Dear guests, live broadcasting will be available on the homepage by the Faculty of Communication. In addition, simultaneous translation in English-Turkish will be available throughout the ceremony by the students of Department of Translation and Interpretation. I would like to invite you all to observe a minute of silence in memory of our great leader Atatürk and all the Martians, and in memory of the late Süleyman Demirel, 9th President, whom used to attend all our opening ceremonies and gave the opening lectures. We will now be watching the university's promotional video produced by the Faculty of Communication.
Oh,
Dear guests, I would like to invite Elif İlke Bulgan, who is placed as a top student in 2017-2018 academic year, to deliver her speech.
Dear President of the Board of Trustees, dear Rector, dear faculty members, and fellow students. First, I would like to wish a successful 2017-2018 academic year for all my fellow friends and faculty members. Self-realization of individuals acquiring persistency depends on three principles: change, development, and innovation. In this age we live in, self-development, being open to new ideas, is totally supported by education. Being fully acknowledged that education and research is the only way to take me to my goals, I strongly believe that İzmir University of Economics is the right address for me. I had a chance to look into the opportunities offered by many universities as I was getting ready for university entrance exams. The fact that İzmir University of Economics, going beyond traditional education, predominantly using technology, its strong academic staff, international education standards, double major minor program opportunities, and quality student graduate profile helped me choose the university without hesitation. I have full confidence that I will fully take advantage of the opportunities the university offers me and use it as a major step to achieve the future I dream about. I wish us all a successful academic year, following the path of Atatürk, where we can progress in line with basic democratic principles, national and moral values the country is based on.
Thank you very much, Elif İlke Bulgan. Now I would like to invite the Rector, Professor Dr. Can Shimgamuan, to deliver her speech.
Hello, respected member of the Parliament, dear Foreign Consulate, esteemed Chairman of the Board of Trustees and the members of the board. And I would, well, after that speech, I am kind of speechless. That's why it was a very nice speech, and it really opened up the ground for what I am planning to say. It is my very pleasant duty to bid you all a genial welcome and thank you for joining us in our opening ceremony of the 2017-18 academic year. Each academic year opening takes me back to the year I was a student. The first time I went to the university. I mean, you're fresh, you don't know anything, and it's the first time you become an adult. I'm not a teenager anymore. It's all on me. It's my responsibility from now on. It's me and me. So it's kind of hard. And we welcome such eager, young, more than 1,700 undergraduate students and more than 200 graduate students, adding up more than 10,000 students in total. And we love them and cherish them every time. In addition to that, however, we didn't stop there. We have new faculty members, 27 faculty members from industrial engineering to aerospace and business administration, physics, psychology, civil. You can read them all, most probably. And 30 instructors, language, and other new scholars, research scholars, joining us from around the world, literally. As with our new students, we have new students from more than 15 countries, as shown in the previous slide, and from all 67 cities of Turkey. So we are getting to be a diverse university, and that's why Elif said she chose the university, because of the diversity of the students, diversity of the programs we provide, outstanding faculty members. Those were the reasons she cited, so she took the words out of my mouth in a way. because we want to achieve it, and it is very nice to hear it in others' words. New understandings of human behavior and brain, along with advances in technology, have opened the doors to new possibilities in teaching and learning, both online and face-to-face. One question is, how can we best use our time in the classroom? So we support this with various technology in the classrooms so that students can go back and check it out. And in addition, we support it with the education of our own professors. Everybody is searching ways of improving their teaching skills and hands-on experiences. And we would like to connect the classroom with the world, whatever happens in the classroom with the world. We try to emphasize the projects, we try to emphasize the case studies more in classrooms so that our students, when they graduate, will have a glimpse of what is going on. As faculty members, we value interdisciplinary research. Now that our new, fresh medical school has started, we are looking forward to research coming out of interdisciplinary research from medical, engineering, faculty of fine arts and business. I mean, they can all combine into one big project. We also increase our faculty and staff exchange programs, and currently, as we speak, we're talking to University of Missouri at Columbia to form joint degrees or programs that we can. So we are improving, and likewise, I see the Chinese head consul here, and we are trying to establish our centers with China as well. And we very much thank you for your support in the Chinese language classes. Thank you very much. Difficult economy around the world since the last decade has led to weakened job opportunities and job markets around the world. Globally, that's the case. And this, in turn, has fed a tendency for more people to see higher education or university education in increasingly narrow and instrumental terms. Or in other words, how can education get students on track to land their first job? So it's geared for a single job. What we hear at Izmir University of Economics is, as opposed to that, we try to answer the question, how can we help our students learn all they can to shape meaningful, valuable lives? So what this means is, we try to give them the traits that they can use to be adaptable to the changing world. There are jobs out there that we don't know yet. 10 years from now, some of the jobs will be extinct, and some new jobs will emerge. And we try to have our students believe in themselves, believe in the education they have here, so that when a new job opportunity comes up, they can easily adapt and change with the changing times. That's what we're trying to prepare them for the challenge lying ahead. And that's why we all, faculty and staff, are trying to help our students reach their potential, as I write on the slide, ease their way through this challenging times. Now, how do they do it? Through I'm not going to read them all, but through student clubs and their projects, students achieve things. Like the high-altitude balloon developed by all students EcoSpace group, or TÜBİTAK University Student Research Grant Program. One is the drone going out, and the other is ongoing project of the battery-operated car or electrical car, Eco Wheels. Entrepreneurship flag, the third time in a row, we received the entrepreneurship flag from TÜSİAD, I'm sorry. And the rumor is that because we have won it 3 times in a row, they're going to change the rules. We'll see this year. Because we aim to get it for the 4th year as well. And our students won prizes last year, and they keep winning. That's why I prefer to use the verb win. Students of Department of Architecture, they won the first prize in the Hawthorne Impressive Design, and third prize in Best Architectural Design in London. SVB London Fashion Trade Show, first place with her design. Young Translator Competition, 2 times in a row again, in one first place and the second place. 2017 Design and Award Competition in Italy, the gold medal. CFA Research Challenge 2016-17, they were one of the Turkey finalists. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it to the top this year, but next year we will be there. And our faculty members are working constantly on getting projects, so improving the knowledge, as I said before. TÜBİTAK project, Yuri Mishenko, robotic hardware that would enable movements of patients in real life. And there's an ongoing research, which is a very good example of interdisciplinary research. In a way, discovery in DNA sequencing will open the door to cancer treatment. And for starters, we have Turkish Airlines support for the projects, like a coffee art machine, and Udentify. These are the projects that are funded by the Turkish Airlines. We have Enerjisa support through embryonics. These 2 companies, Enerjisa and Turkish Airlines, support the projects. And ongoing research and patents. I am sorry I can't name all of the student projects or all of the faculty projects. I am very sorry, the time is not enough for that. We have to keep you all night here. But I'm going to mention just the numbers. We have 3 European Research Council grants going on and 2 more on the agenda applied. We have, as of today, 16 TÜBİTAK grants currently going on, and today I signed 1 more, so the number is now 32 instead of 31. Application in the evaluation process. 18 patents applications by Faculty of Engineering, Fine Arts and Design and Vocational School from all over the school, from DNA isolation kit to ovarian cancer kit. So these are very different patents. In addition, we have ongoing and completed industry-university cooperations with these very well-known companies, and we have 5 more in the pipeline that we're going to sign soon. But what we aim, in a way, I just wanted to give you a glimpse of what we do in general. Here, we try to give the best education and do interdisciplinary research that could provide the breakthrough and satisfy the needs of our students and the teachers without foregoing the quality. Quality is the only thing that we will not forego as a university. And I want to underline it again and again. And with that, we would like to carry Izmir University of Economics to the 22nd century with success. We look at the back, but we don't get stuck in the past. We learn from our experiences and move on. So I would like to invite you to join us in the 2017-18 academic year celebrations or gatherings to share the pride, and let's move forward with us. And I would personally like to thank you for your support as the trustees, as the parents, as my cherished colleagues and staff in helping us getting to that ideal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, dear Rector. Now I would like to invite founding president of Izmir University of Economics Board of Trustees and chairman of the Executive Board of Izmir Chamber of Commerce, dear Ekrem Demirtaş, to deliver his speech, who always guides us with his vision and his foresight.
İzmir Milletvekilim Sayın Ali Yiğit ve değerli eşleri, Çin İzmir Başkonsolosumuz, mütevelli heyetimizin çok değerli üyeleri, İzmir Ticaret Odası meclis üyeleri, değerli konuklarımız, değerli hocalarımız, değerli öğrencilerimiz, 2001-2017 göz açıp kapayıncaya kadar geçti sanki. Burada bir eğitime başlama yılını daha birlikte kutluyoruz. Ama bu 17 yıl başarı ile dolu ve yatırımla geçti. Biraz önce Sayın Demirel'i burada andık. 9. Cumhurbaşkanımız sağlıklı olduğu yılların hepsinde buraya geldi ve ilk yılından itibaren açılışımızda ilk dersi verdi. Onu saygıyla burada andık. Tabii Baykuş Yuvası gibi olan bu eski kumarhane oteli, belediye %50 hisse sahibiydi. Sonra Araplardan belediye başkanımız Sayın Priştine aldı ve bu muhteşem kampüs alanını bize kazandırdı. Bu açılış yılında da Sayın Priştine'yi buradan rahmetle anıyor ve kendisine şükranlarımızı bir kez daha tekrarlıyoruz. Evet, geçmişimiz tabii ki başarıyla dolu. Hocam biraz önce saydı. Şimdi dedim ki hepsini sayacaksa öğrenci başarılarının herhalde bir saat daha falan bu tören uzar. Ama biz geçmişimizle övünüyoruz ama geleceğimizin de parlak olmasını istiyoruz. Geçmişte fiziksel altyapıya çok büyük yatırımlar yaptık. Ama önemli olan öğrencilere yaptığımız yatırımlar oldu. Bugün burada geçen yıllar içerisinde yaklaşık 10.000'e aşkın öğrenci mezun ettik. Onların hepsiyle gerçekten gurur duyuyoruz. Dünyanın her yerinde, çok çeşitli sektörlerde ve önemli görevlerde çalışıyorlar. Bugün yeni eğitim yılına başlama nedeniyle eğitim ve başlama töreni yapıyoruz. Bu sene aramıza katılan 1700 öğrencimiz olacak. Biz de onlar kadar heyecanlıyız. Yeni katılan öğrenciler kadar heyecanlıyız. Onları yenilikçi ve girişimci olarak yetiştirmeye çalışacağız hocalarımızla birlikte. Mezunlarımızın pek çoğu, hatta mezun olmayan öğrencilerimiz şu anda hocamızın saydığı çok üstün başarıları gösteriyorlar. Ama çok az sayıda öğrencimiz de bize uyum sağlayamıyor ve daha kolay diploma alabilecekleri yerlere gidiyorlar. 3 yıldır hocamın dediği gibi bu gençlikte iş var. Bayrağı burada dalgalandı. Şimdi 4. yılda yine alırız diye sistemini değiştiriyorlarmış. Ama yine de o sistemle de biz yine çabalarımıza devam edeceğiz. TÜSİAD yarışmalarında yine İzmir ekonominin bayrağını dalgalandıracağız. Hocam söylemedi, 2 gün önce Derya Özkan hocamız bana mail atmış. Belki siz o çok mailleriniz arasında görmediniz. İngiltere'de yapılan yarışmada finalist öğrenci ve mezunlarımız var. 2. sınıf öğrencilerimizden Mete Arkun, Ecem İlkyaz, Murat Yılmaz yaptıkları kısa belgesel film, Çıkmaz Şehir filmin ismi ve bu Uluslararası Mimarlık ve Kent Filmleri Festivali'nde 90 ülkeden 910 film arasında ilk 47'ye giriyor. Daha 2. sınıfta. Tabii eğitim dilimiz İngilizce olduğu için diğer üniversitelerimizle aramızda bir fark yaratıyoruz. Sadece farkımız o da değil, 2. yabancı dil eğitimi de burada veriyoruz. Sayın Başkonsolosumuz burada bizi onurlandırdılar bugün. bildiğiniz gibi Çince'de ikinci yabancı dil eğitimimiz var. Sayın Başkonsolosumuz 1000'e aşkın kitap, laptop ve sınıf için her türlü dokümanı, Çin kültür sınıfı için her türlü dokümanı bize temin etti. Kendisine çok teşekkür ediyoruz. Ama beklentimiz Confucius merkezini burada açmak. O konuda da Sayın Başkonsolosumuzdan desteklerinin devamını istiyoruz. Değerli konuklar, 2 yıl önce kampüsümüzdeki sınıfları akıllı sınıf yaptık. Nedir akıllı sınıf? Hepinizin bildiği gibi ders sırasında, derste anlatılanlar kayıt altına alınıyor. O kayıt altına alınan ders öğrenciler tarafından defalarca tekrar izlenebiliyor, okunabiliyor ve böylece başarı daha yükseğe doğru tırmanıyor. Hani bu biraz önce sayılan o başarılar bir noktada eğitim sistemine yaptığımız yatırımdan da geliyor. Giderek başarılar artacak. Buna eminiz. 7500 öğrenci hedefimiz oydu. Bu kampüsümüz 40.000 metrekare. 7500'ü aşmayacaktık. Ama geçtiğimiz yıl kapatılan üniversitelerden gelen öğrencilerle öğrenci sayımız 10.500'ü buldu. Bu tabii ki hem hocalarımıza hem öğrencilerimize belli ölçüde rahatsızlık verdi ama tolere edebildik. Çünkü imkanlarımız son derece fazla. Tolere edebildik. Yani 2000 civarı öğrenci sayımızda bir aşma meydana geldi. Sağlık eğitimi, bu 2000 kişinin aşması nedeniyle de altyapımıza, fiziksel altyapımıza yatırım yapmak mecburiyetinde kalıyoruz ki ama kademeli olarak bu sayıyı yine 7500'e indireceğiz. Tıp fakültesi açmak hiç hayalimizde yoktu. Yani çok şey hayal ettik. Bilim ve teknolojiye yatırım yapacağız. İşte uzaya sadece balon değil, uydu gönderen öğrencilerimiz olacak, fakültemiz olacak diye hayal ettik ama tıp fakültesi açmak hiç niyetimiz yoktu. Ama çağımız öyle bir çağ ki, Hakan Hocam yine aynı sunuşu yapacaktır. Nüfusumuz yaşlanıyor ve çağın vebası denen kanser o kadar çok büyük tehdit olmaya başladı ki ve benzeri hastalıklar ve bizim 75.000 üyemiz var. Bu 75.000 üyemizin sadece eşini koysanız 150.000. Orada çalışanları ve onların ailelerini koyarsanız milyona geçen bir ailemiz var bizim, büyük bir aile. Onların sağlık sorunları içinde tıp fakültesine bu sene 60 başarılı öğrenci aldık. Bir bölümü burada beyaz önlükleriyle aramızda. Biz onlarla üyelerimize daha etkin hizmetler vermeyi planlıyoruz ve bunun çalışmalarını da başladık. Hastane inşaatımızı şu anda devam ettiriyoruz ama Medifema Hastanesi'nin değerli yönetici ve sahibi Meryem Yiğit de burada aramızda. Onların da destekleriyle şu anda staj konusunu Sağlık Bilimleri Fakültesi ve yüksekokulu öğrencilerimize orada hizmet alıyoruz. Kendisine de buradan teşekkür ediyorum. Meslek yüksekokulumuz burada onlara daha iyi olanak sağlamak konusunda bir çabamız daha var. Ticaret Odası yeni binasına taşınıyor biliyorsunuz. Yeni binasına taşındıktan sonra kara tarafındaki Cumhuriyet Bulvarı'ndaki yeri meslek yüksekokulu haline getirmeyi planlıyoruz. Şu anda tam kesin değil ama böyle bir şey planlıyoruz ve aynı zamanda gece 24'e kadar orada meslek eğitimi, Ticaret Odası meslek eğitimi de meslek okulu halinde çalışarak meslek eğitimi vermeyi planlıyoruz. Evet, bu bina kumarhane otelinden kalan bir bina. Burası da oranın restoranıydı. Biz konferans salonu yaptık. Bu bölümü de 2 etapta yenileyerek daha fonksiyonel hale getireceğiz ve altyapımızda burada eskiden kalan hiçbir bina kalmayacak. Değerli konuklar, 17. Yılımızda hedeflerimize ulaşmanın mutluluğunu ve gururunu yaşıyoruz. Bu nedenle tabii bu katkı yapan herkese buradan çok teşekkür etmek istiyorum. Başta rektörümüz, akademisyenlerimiz, öğretim görevlilerimiz, idari personelimiz, üniversitemizin mütevelli heyeti, vakfımızın mütevelli heyet üyeleri, İzmir Ticaret Odası'nın yönetimi ve İzmir Ticaret Odası'nın meclisi hepsinin son derece büyük katkıları oldu. Hepsine buradan teşekkürlerimizi sunuyorum. Geçmişte olduğu gibi geleceğimizde de bu ülkemiz için Mustafa Kemal'in askerlerini yetiştirmeye devam edeceğiz. Katılımınız için hepinize teşekkür ediyor, saygılar sunuyorum.
We thank dear President for his speech. Now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Hakan Abajoğlu, Dean of Faculty of Medicine, to deliver his Planet Health title opening lecture.
Esteemed members of the protocol, distinguished President of the Board of Trustees, dear fellow colleagues, dear students, it's my honor and privilege to give the opening lecture in this academic year. Thank you. The title of my talk is Primum non nocere. It's in Latin. I'm not going to tell you what it means. You have to wait until to the end. But this is one of the first ethical principles that we teach our medical students in the first days of the medical school. In our medical curriculum, we are the first medical school in Turkey to introduce the concept of planetary health. And in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to show you some data why we need to do this. I will not be talking much on the health side, more on the data that why we are actually dealing with planetary health. I'm a doctor, and from my perspective, our Mother Earth is sick. I can tell you just 3 diagnoses, 3 diseases that our Mother Earth is suffering. One is pollution, the other is loss of biodiversity, and the third is global warming. I will tell you a brief information, give you brief information on pollution and loss of biodiversity, and spend more on the global warming. But just look, please, how much plastics we consume. In 1950, we consumed 2 million of plastic. When it comes to 2017, it's 8.3 billion tons. And it's going to rise, and in 2015, it's estimated to be 34 billion tons. And only 9% can be recycled. Most of are put into landfills and to the oceans. In the Pacific Ocean, there are 2 garbage patches, bigger than Mexico. Mexico is approximately 2 million square kilometers. That's how big they are. And they are not large plastic bottles or bags. They are at the microscopic size. They are degraded and come in microscopic sizes. But also, this is a seabird, probably an albatross, and this is what it comes from its stomach. It is not only plastic pollution that we're talking about. There are chemical pollutions, all sorts of pollutions. And this is a website that I find very useful for daily life. This is American government's National Institute of Health. It's called Toxtown. If you want to see what sort of chemical toxic agents you're facing in your everyday life, please check this site. It's very informative. Let me tell you a few words about loss of biodiversity. Biodiversity means the number of species, and we are losing some of the species on the earth. This is a graphic and a map from the distinguished science journal Nature. And here you can see that the loss of biodiversity is more than 10%. And here, if I can show you, on this map, the darker red areas represents the highest biodiversity lost areas. And unfortunately, Turkey is one of them. It's around 30%. These animals on the left lower corner, they do not exist anymore. They are extinct. We don't know how many species are no longer exist. And actually, we all depend on the ecosystems. And if we lose one ecosystem, the others will eventually affect it. Let's get to the last point. This is a debate actually going on. It's a controversial issue. It's global warming. And all the data that I'm going to present you are from US governmental sources. They are official and up-to-date data. This graphic shows the rise in the temperature when it comes to, when we get to the 2000s. As you see, it's going up. And we are now 1 degree warmer than before. And it's getting warmer. We get this data from thermometers. The red ones actually show the thermometer reads. And all the others are from 3 rings, corals, coral reefs, ice cores, and historical records. That's how the scientists work. IPCC is an international intergovernmental panel on climate change. And they have been publishing reports on the climate change in every 5 years or 6 years so. In 1990, they were not mentioning any human intervention in the climate change. But they started to talk about this in 1995, and when it comes to 2013, they were saying that human-emitted greenhouse gases are extremely likely, at least 95% chance that they are responsible for the global warming. This IPCC shared the Nobel Prize for Peace in 2007 with the US Vice President Al Gore. And the reason why they received this Nobel Prize is because they were working on the man-made climate change. That's why they got the Nobel Prize. We are academicians, so we need to talk about facts, not beliefs. So let's see what is the evidence on showing that global warming is real and it is man-made. First of all, it's simple chemistry. When you burn carbon-based fuels, you release carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. That's simple chemistry. Since 1950s, we've been measuring carbon dioxide levels. And in July 2017, it exceeded 400 parts per million threshold. This has been the highest carbon dioxide level recorded over the 800,000 years in the Earth history. As you see from this graph, there are actually fluctuations, but never, ever the carbon dioxide levels exceeded 300 ppm threshold. And first time in our history, we exceeded 400 ppm. How did the scientists know about 800,000 years? What happened 8,000 years ago? Well, they dig Antarctica, the poles, they dig and get the ice cores, and ice cores give scientists information about the environment at the time the ice was formed. That's how they do it. The third way is we can do chemical analysis, and we've been doing this since 1950s. The carbon isotopes can tell you the source of the carbon dioxide, whether it is man-made or coming from fossil fuels. They can actually differentiate by looking at the carbon isotope distribution. We also can do simple mathematics, just basic accounting. And when you do that, I'm sorry, it's us. It seems that we are emitting much of the carbon dioxide that we measure in the atmosphere. There are natural resources as well. It's not only humans. But most of it, it's us. And we can measure the amounts, as I told you, and it is not in kilograms or something, it's in gigatons. 1 gigaton is 10 to the 12 kilograms. 10 to the 12 is 1 trillion kilogram. This is from an Australian government website. And between 2004 and 2013, the annual carbon dioxide release, most of it are from fossil fuel and cement industry, is around 9 gigatons, 9 trillion kilograms. Some of the carbon dioxide are absorbed in the oceans and also by the forests. The oceans do their job and actually absorb like a quarter of the carbon dioxide emissions. But what happens is some of the seashells need carbonate ions for the calcification of their shells. And because of the acidification, carbonate ions are consumed and they can no longer produce shells. And this is the end of the food chain. A simple thing actually affects a lot of other things. It was just a small example. It's basic physics. We know about the greenhouse gases. Greenhouse gases, actually what it does is that the sun sends UV lights and the solar radiation to the earth, and it reflects from the earth. When there are greenhouse gases, it cannot escape into the space. It just stays in the atmosphere and makes world warmer. That's what it's called, greenhouse effect. We know that carbon dioxide is the main greenhouse gas, but there are others like methane, nitrous oxide, and all the other gases. I like this graphic. This clearly shows the correlation between the carbon dioxide levels and the temperature change. The temperature change are shown in blue lines, and the global carbon dioxide change, it's shown in red. It runs in parallel. So they have a very good correlation. That's one of the things that how we know about this. But from this, you can see that there are fluctuations. There are some warming periods and cooling periods. The alternative explanation is that it is not human-made. It is the nature itself. It just happens. But the carbon dioxide levels have never been that high in our history of the planet. The sources of greenhouse gases are mainly industry and industrial food production. Only like 12% are coming from commercial and residential use. and some from the agriculture. A lot of physics and chemistry, but when you come to the health, this is a recent Nature paper. When the legumes and grains are grown under high carbon dioxide levels, then the level of zinc and iron in these legumes and grains go lower. What it means is that those who depend on those minerals and vitamins, like pregnant women, like children, they do not get enough of it. So we will face some deficiencies, like iron deficiency. Iron deficiency causes anemia. Zinc deficiency makes you prone to infections, and it's also a vital element for many chemical reactions occurring in the body. We have agricultural emissions coming from, mostly in the methane form, it's coming from the animals actually, the cattle. But also we burn some trees and forests to open up spaces for farming. That's another reason. This is a fact, but I want to show you another phase of this agricultural emissions. We use a lot of fertilizers, phosphate-based, nitrogen-based, and what happens is that they drain into the water ponds, the rivers or lakes, and actually because they're fertilizers, they fertilize the growth of water plants. They start consuming oxygen, and also they overproduce the alga. It's a form of bacteria. They actually overgrow and covers the top of the water ponds. The UV lights, the sunlight cannot go deep into the water. So there is no oxygen, there is no sunlight, and the life can no longer exist in those water resources. What you end up with getting is a lot of dead fish. I believe we see that in our newspapers. A recent one, actually, I read it today, somewhere around in this area. We can monitor climate conditions. We started doing that in the 1930s, and this is a NASA report showing that 2015 had been the warmest ever recorded in human history. 2016 was warmer. 2017 was as warm as 2016. We are breaking new world records. We do mathematical modeling. A lot of climate scientists use supercomputers to predict the outcomes and what actually the causes of this global warming. And only the inclusion of human activities in these models can reproduce observed warming. And the last evidence is that the scientists actually agree that it's human-made. Most of the scientists, they say it's like 97% of the scientists agree that the global warming is due to man-made activities. There are rumors that the remaining 3% that are published in the scientific journals may have some flaws in their scientific data. We doctors sometimes have to give bad news to our patients, like you have a serious infection or you have cancer. And in this case, it seems that it's us. What could happen if we don't stop global warming? I want to show you a video that summarizes what would happen. This video was produced by World Economic Forum. You know them from the Davos meetings. It is not a scientific video, it's an economical perspective. So it is evident, I believe, that we must reduce our carbon footprint. What it shows in this graphic is that if we continue to emit carbon dioxide as of today, the red line shows what we will end up in at the end of the 22nd century. We will get like the 5-degree global warming level where you cannot sustain a life on planet Earth. But if we follow a low emission pathway, that there is, I believe, hope, then you can keep it under 2 degrees of warming. This is all about quotas. So far, scientists believe that between 1850 and 1999, this is when the Industrial Revolution started, actually. In that period, we actually produced like 1,000 gigatons of carbon dioxide. Between 2000 and 2015, we produced 500 gigatons, the half of it in just 15 years. Scientists believe that we have 335 gigatons that we can safely consume. And annually, we are producing 32 gigatons per year. So it gives us only 8 years to be on the safe side. After 8 years, then we have to think about what we are doing. Well, our world leaders, they do not agree with global warming. I'm sorry, this is not me, this is Donald Trump. They say that, well, you read it. This is his thinking. I just want to remind you, this is, I'm coming to the last slide, and this is the one just before the last slide. Just for the beginners, I want to remind you 4 principles of ecology. Everything is connected to everything else. When this polar bear dies, we can no longer exist. We may survive a little bit longer, but at the end, we will be affected. Everything must go somewhere. We produce all these carbon dioxide, it should go somewhere. It doesn't dissipate into the space. It stays in the atmosphere. We pollute the world with our plastics. They don't disappear, they just stay here. So this is the basic principle of ecology. And nothing comes, there is no such thing as a free lunch. We have to pay a price for that. We are paying that, and it seems that we will be paying more in the coming future. So, primum non nocere means first do no harm. This is one of the first things we teach our medical students in the first days of the medical school. So I believe, looking back all these scientific data, now it is no longer a scientific choice. For us, it's an ethical choice. Thank you.
Anadolu'nun dağlarındayız. Yıl 1911. Dara düşen ya dağa yaslanırmış ya da beye. Zeybek olmaya karar verenler ağlara yaslanmayacağına göre kurt bunalırsa köye iner, kul bunalırsa dağa kaçar deyip zirvelere yerleşmişler. Kimi zaman Kuvayi Milliye'de direnişçi olan efeler hayatın hiçbir alanında kimseye boyun eğmemiş, el etek öpmemiş, kendine sığınanı ne olursa olsun koruyup gözetmiş, düşkün kişiye kimsesize zarar vermemiş, halk içindeki anlaşmazlıkları adil bir anlayışla çözmüş. Gösterişin her türlüsünden uzak durmuşlardır. Yazılı olmayan kendine has hiyerarşik kuralları içerisinde örgütlü bir topluluktur efeler. Birçok efe halkı çok etkilemiş. Halk onları içtenlikle sevmiş. Düşmanlara korku salmışlar, dostlara güven vermişler. İsimleri dilden dile yayılmış, büyümüş. Halk onlar için türküler yapmış. Bunların en ünlüsü de Büyük Efe namıyla bilinen Çakırcalı Mehmet Efe olmuş.
İzmir'in kavakları dökülür yaprakları, İzmir'in kavakları dökülür yaprakları, bize de derler Çakırcı, yar fidan boylu, yıkarız konakları. Bize de derler Çakırcı, yar fidan boylu, yıkarız konakları. Selvim senden uzun yol, yaprağında düzüm yok. Selvim senden uzun yol, yaprağında düzüm yok. Kamalda zeybek vuruldu, yar fidan boylu, Çakıcıya sözüm yok.
Çakırcalı Mehmet Efe sevdadan da canından da geçti ama halktan ve haktan geçmedi. Bugün bu mirası Anadolu'nun efe yürekli insanlarına bıraktı. Tüm gerçek efelerin ruhu şad, inançları daim olsun. Çanakkale'deyiz. Tarih 27 Mayıs 1915. İngiliz generalinin ifadesiyle Gelibolu'daki kanlı muharebeler Türk ordusunun çiçeğini bitirmek üzere. Sultan 5. Mehmet Reşat emri verir. Askeri mükellefiyet kanununda değişiklik yapılır. Lise öğrencileri de cepheye çağrılır. 19 ila 15 yaşındaki eli silah tutan tüm erkekler artık birer askerdir. Ve Balıkesir, Bursa, Kütahya, Manisa, Adapazarı, Konya, Aydın, Muğla ile İzmir'in gençleri için Türk milleti yılların silemediği o yürekleri dağlayan ağıtını yakar. Ülkesi için inancını koruyan o kahraman 15'lilerin ruhları şad olsun.
Tokat yolları taşlı, hem beşli, 15'li. Tokat yolları taşlı, 15'liler geliyor, kızların gözü yaşlı. Aslan yarim senin adın hediye. Ben dolandım, sen de dolan, gel beri. Fistan aldım endazesi 17. Aslan yarim kız senin adın hediye. Giderim elinizden, kurtulan dilinizden. Giderim elinizden, kurtulan dilinizden. Yeşil baş ördek olsam, su içmem gölünüzden. Aslan yarim senin adın hediye. Ben dolandım, sen de dolan, gel beri. Fistan aldım endazesi 17. Aslan yarim kız senin adın hediye.
karşılama töreninde ilk defa bir marş çalınıyor. Coşkulu kalabalık bu marşı duydukça daha da coşuyor. Azerbaycanlı besteci genç
istedi.